Okay, agency owners, are you accidentally breaking the law? Misclassifying your ICs could cost you big or even cost your business. We're going to get into it today. Keep on watching. All right, guys, don't forget to take a moment, like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell right here on YouTube. We bring you amazing content every single week to help you with your travel businesses, and I don't want you to miss a thing. If you're new here, type a little "I'm new" in comments. I'd love to welcome you to our community. And if you are new, you might not know who I am. My name is Cyndi Williams. I am the CEO and founder of Wanderlust Campus, and listen, 30 years in the industry, and I have seen a lot in my time. In fact, when I started in the industry, the model of employment in the industry was completely different. It was more employee-employer model, right? In today's world, we are in a brand new world where it is more contractor models all over the industry, right? But are you crossing the line? Are you infringing on the line? That's what we need to find out today, because I don't want it to cost you your business. So here's the thing. There are some lawsuits brewing in the industry right now around this topic. So I thought this is a really relevant one to talk about, especially if you are an agency owner. And I also know, just from working in the industry and having certified thousands of travel professionals, and also we certified travel agencies, and we teach them all of these rules and kind of how to separate these pieces and make sure that you are in compliance, because it's important. So I also want to preface this video by saying I am not an attorney, nor do I pretend to be one on the internet. So I'm always going to put you back. And in this case, you would want to make sure that you are running everything by an attorney that specializes in employment law. That is what you're looking for in this situation. But we have lots of tips that you should know, at least to get some initial guidance on, am I in compliance? Or maybe you've been thinking about starting an agency and you want to make sure that you're not breaking the rules. This video is for you. All right, guys, so let's talk about, first things first, understanding IC versus employee compliance. There are some big differences. So there are some things that you should know. One, just because you bring them on as a 1099 contractor, you call them a 1099 contractor, you say that they're a 1099 contractor. However, if you treat them differently, that can be in question, right? So that's what we're talking about today. What we want to make sure is, are you following the federal guidelines and the specific criteria to legally have them in that classification of a contractor, okay? So here are some things and key factors. You, as contractors, you do not have control over their schedule, okay? You can't give them a shift. You can't tell them when to work, how to work, all of those things. You cannot say, I want you to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You cannot dictate what their schedule is, nor can you write them up if they miss time, because there is no such thing as missing time as a contractor, right? So understanding you do not have control in any way, shape, or form over their schedule. Another one in this category is tools. You cannot really dictate what technology they use to complete the assignments or the tasks that you give them. And that one can get a little sticky too, right? So making sure that you are in compliance with not mandating those things. Also, training is a big one. If you are training them or requiring them, like, when you pretty much every regular employee job, you have to go through a required training to work here. You have to learn the things to work here, right? You actually cannot require that in an independent contractor role. So that becomes a little bit sticky when they're doing a very detailed job, like becoming a travel professional, and they may be out representing your brand, which can be tough as well. So we're going to go through kind of some different things and kind of like how you can get some guidance even further from the IRS site as well. So, but what I want to, before we get into that, I want to also say, if you are misclassifying employees versus contractors, there can be fines, there can be back taxes, there can be lawsuits, there can be audits, nothing that's going to help you spend time being productive in your business. So making sure that you are stopping and pausing and doing these things by the letter of the law is very important. All right, so let's talk about how to protect your agency. First thing is, make sure you have some solid contracts. So you want to make sure you have an independent contractor agreement. You also want to make sure that you have an employment law attorney look at this agreement, make sure that it's kind of like your first line of defense, that you are stating that they are an independent contractor, what they can expect from you, what you can expect from them, and that it follows the 20-factor test given from the IRS. And if you're in California, there's an ABC test that is used in California and some other states as well. You can go to irs.gov and you can find the 20-factor test and the information that you need on that site that says if they're doing this, they're in compliance. If they're doing this, they're out of compliance. Make sure you are, if you're trying to hire contractors, in the in compliance zone, and then have that attorney look that over as well. And also, you can't just say it on your contract. You actually have to do it in real life. That's an important one as well. And you want to also avoid employee-like language in these types of agreements. So things like, no required hours, no control over how the work is performed. You want to make sure that you're staying in guidance with those as well. So that's where the attorney really comes in to play, because they can say, oh, this sounds like you're talking to an employee, or you can't really say that if it's a contractor, right? So make sure that they are going through that process of reviewing that with you to come up with your final contract as well. All right, next thing I want to talk about, keep it simple, keep it clean, keep your training separate, guys. Listen, this is a big one, and I know this is a hard one, and this is all industry-wide, this is a very difficult one. In fact, leaders and titans in the industry will say the number one problem we have in the industry is we don't have good training. It's not that good training doesn't exist. It's that we cannot standardize in these models of contractors. So outside of things like, Wanderlust Campus has a standardized training, but it is separate from the host. It is separate from the consortia. It is separate from all the places. And so it's more of an independent type training. So there is more standardization. But you as an agency owner cannot create, develop, put together a training program and require your contractors to do the training program. So that could be, because that's what you do with employees, not with contractors, right? So keeping your training functions separate, make sure you are working with a third party, whether it's someone like Wanderlust Campus or someone else in the industry. You want to make sure that that is really clear. Like, here's where you receive your education, or you could make it a requirement for your contractors to already be certified or have a designation from one of our programs before they're eligible to work with you. One of the things we do in our Wanderlust CEO program, which is our certified travel agency program, is we have our agencies as educational partners. So while we supply the education, they are not supplying it, we are supplying it, so it keeps it separate from that perspective. And they come to us for the education, and then they go and work as contractors in the different agencies that we partner with as educational partners all through the industry. Now, again, whether you're using us or someone else, the point is keep it separate, guys. You don't want that to kind of come back. And that is in one of the lawsuits floating around, is one of the sticking points are saying they make me do training, they make me do recurring training. And that is one of the points that they are claiming, they are alleging that their agency is out of compliance for that. So very, very important. We're all following that very closely for sure. But you want to make sure you're removing as much liability as possible and you're not accidentally crossing the line for the IRS or the Department of Labor to say, we need to look in this a little further. So let us be the educators. You guys stay in the CEO role. That works best. All right. Next one up is how to operate legally and safely. Again, I am not an attorney, so you want to make sure that you are running everything past your attorney. But a couple of things that I will recommend that I've seen through the years. One, train your team. If you are at an agency size where you have 100 agents, 200, 500, 1,000, whatever, make sure your leaders are trained in a way that they are always operating and very cognizant of the difference between employee relationships and IC boundaries, and that they are complying with that. So a lot of times the owners can say, well, no, this is how I thought it was. But if a leader is saying, well, no, I need you to be here Monday at 9:00. I need you to work till 5. That's what this entails. They just broke the law on your agency's behalf, and you don't want that. So make sure you're educating your team, particularly your leadership team, who hopefully that will flow down into your larger agencies. And then avoid giving ICs business cards with your agency branding unless it is very clear that they're independent. So make sure you have that extra legal terminology. If you are giving them business cards, explaining that they are an independent contractor of, that's important. And again, these are these little things you don't know that the questions you don't know to ask are the ones that get you in the most trouble, right? That's just one that I picked up over the years that I knew became a sticking point with another agency that had an issue. ICs should also ideally have their own marketing, their own leads, their own clients. One of the things we do with our Wanderlust CEO program is we train their agents to go out and hustle for their own leads, bring in their own clientele, run their own mini businesses from a contractor perspective under the umbrella of the larger agency, right? And that is important because, again, if you have a lead from the agency and you're saying, I need you to call them by 5 o'clock, that again could be a situation where you are in jeopardy of that contractor versus employee model. And that is a situation you don't want to be in. So keep it clean, keep it consistent. Also have really good documentation on everything from your commissions to your communications to any compliance steps is really important. Another thing that I'll share with you guys, just a bonus insight, audits usually or often can happen if an IC says, oh, well, I was fired, and they go claim unemployment. And then all of a sudden the IRS or your state is going, they don't have employees. What's going on here? That can trigger a review of your setup, which again, we don't want to have happen. So guys, I know this wasn't the most fun video. We're talking about a lot of heavy topics here, but one of the things that I will recommend, especially if you're starting to think about growing a team or you already have a team and you're worried about where am I really encourage you to reach out to us at Wanderlust Campus because we can really do kind of a confidential review of how things stand and see if it makes sense for you to go down the process, go down the road of certifying your agency so you can be a certified travel agency, but also so you're getting the support as a CEO to have this, not just division, but have guidance behind the scenes as you're growing and scaling your team. There's a lot of big mistakes you can make, not even just on the contractor piece, but sometimes on setup, on automations, on marketing, and all the different things that it takes to be a successful agency owner in this industry. Because I've been in the business for 30 years, and part of what we do is not just certify travel professionals, but we also certify travel agency owners to make sure that you are as well prepared as you can be to grow and to scale and to really do all the things. Let's get these T's crossed and the I's dotted, and then let's focus on the fun stuff of running our travel agencies and growing and growing and growing. That's where we all want to be. So reach out to us at wanderlustceo.com/start if you'd like to talk to one of our enrollment advisors that specializes in working with agency owners. We can do a little confidential review and kind of go from there. And also, if you don't already have your free Wanderlust Campus account, I really encourage you to do this. Wanderlust Campus is the training department for the travel industry. And for our agency owners, when you identify yourself as an agency owner, we have a whole series of free resources for agency owners that you can grab right out of Wanderlust Campus, and any of our free trainings that are available for you will also be loaded there as well. Ton of great stuff in there for you, by the way. And if you do have agents as well, they can take advantage of any of the free trainings that we have in there as well. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you today. Again, I know it's a more of a serious topic, but we got to take care of the legal, we got to take care of the finances, we got to take care of those big business building functions so we can do the fun stuff in our agencies as well. So if you like this video, tell us down below. I'm going to link everything down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Last video, I want to encourage you to check out the other content we have here on the channel. We have amazing content at every level, no matter where you are in your travel industry journey, from aspiring to new to growing. Even our travel agency owners, look for those playlists and you can find some amazing content that's really catered just to you. And by the way, if you haven't signed up for your Wanderlust Campus free account, make sure you do that too. And you know what? I'm going to pick some videos and put them for you right here. Check those out. I'll see you next time.